Let's go.
All right, you guys, good morning and welcome back to the Soul Hustle Summit series. Again, I'm Adrienne, your host, and today I am excited and privileged to introduce Rene Manfre, who is a veteran entrepreneur who's worked in every industry from the car industry, insurance industry, and he's a business coach who is focused on helping his clients find their passion and then mapping out the roadmap. So what is your passion, Rene? Take it away.
Yes. Thank you very much. And I appreciate this opportunity. And all my life, I've always had a passion for just to succeed. Through the careers that I've gone through with real estate, an insurance business, I've developed a successful lawn care company. And through the course of management and sales, I always come back down to really the 4 to 5 little steps that most people just don't really think about. And it's a daily focus. And so I've been creating this, and I work with clients across the country, and it's just helping each individual kind of through the process of what they're going through. So everybody's going through some type of different process, some at different levels. So I kind of come down to really the first thing is one is extreme focus, and it's really just an obsession to where like what is it that you really want, and what you're trying to accomplish. And sometimes that visualization on a daily basis is looking at what do you want your life to look like? How do you want to feel? And it's that laser beam focus and visualization that I see that some people just don't spend enough time on, and just thinking it through. And then the second part is really the daily action steps. I don't know if can you see my little board right here?
Tilt it up a little bit, would you? Get it a little bit closer. Yeah, there you go.
It might not be the perfect handwriting. I'm working on some different things lately, and
but middle-aged eyesight as well. It's a little bit blurry, but
I don't want to put too much on it, but I'm trying to figure out how to get my visualization a little bit better on this part, because I just actually designed this a little bit over the last few weeks.
Okay.
And it's to creating your dream life is again extreme focus on what you want. And again, when I go back down to that, it's like it's just with myself, with everything I've ever really wanted. I just focused on what I want, my dream car, my house, my story. I mean, I can go really brief in my story. If that's okay for everyone.
You know what? I do want you to go in the story, because here's the thing that I think a lot of us are really trying to grasp is how do you decipher your passion and your purpose? And that's really what this whole summit is all about. It's your soul hustle. It's like, what's the thing that drives you? And for some, it's the stuff, I see a lot of entrepreneurs out there right now that they're going after the $1 million a year, or the $1 billion a year, or the 8-figure this, or the 6-figure that. And it's just like, well, what's your why? Like, how do you uncover? And we change, we evolve. So, I struggle that for myself. So I want to hear your story.
Let me just share it with you that I'm going to go through all my years as I was younger. I was always a dreamer. I was remedial classes in school. Okay, to make a C, I was fired up. I was always an A student. My brothers, they were always all over the place. But for me, I was always like a C student. And if I were to get a D or a C, my dad and mom would be on me. And I was always in these remedial classes from grade school all the way through high school. And it didn't hit me until I was 27. When I got out of high school, I was great at sales. I was good at people. I love people. I love pleasing people. And every job I got, I looked at it as I'm a brand, and my name was who I am. That's all I can control. And so I kind of look at part of those years is I always did good at every job. When I started something, I started out as a laborer, and within a couple of weeks, they raised me up because they saw that I was doing the work. I wasn't sitting there eating bananas. I wasn't chilling out. I wasn't just trying. And then it took me years to where I went into different businesses. I was a manager of a staffing company. I managed how many hundreds of different age frames of people, and I worked with a lot of construction companies in the areas, and I was successful at that. I've always been in the health club business where my older brother always had health clubs. So I was training people back when I was almost 13. And again, it never hit me until I got a little bit past around teaching and coaching people ever since I was younger, because, just like working out, people come into the gym, they're insecure with themselves. They're either looking at gaining weight or they're looking at losing weight. They don't know what to do. So you give them we had a huge chart. It was a great little chart, and I wish I could find that. But it was a chart of what to do on a daily basis. And it came in, their name was on a chart. They had to do sit-ups. They had to do 4 sit-ups, leg raises, the body parts, what to do on certain days. So through those years, I always did good at every business, company, and semi-sales, but I could not get into the 6-figure level because I couldn't figure out that career, right? And at 27, I got out of the health club business with my older brother, and I came back home, and I was living in my mom and dad's house, and staying in my sister's room, which kind of looks like your colors, nice and pink. So it was uncomfortable.
What in Mexico, gotta represent.
Hey, I love the colors. And I was painting, and I just painting some buildings. Again, I took ownership of it to where I just wanted to kind of be free for a while until I figured out my career. One night, a guy sat down at my kitchen table to switch over my health insurance from Arkansas to Louisiana. And I just asked him, his name was Mr. Jody. And I said, Mr. Jody, can I ask you a question? I'm 27 years old. I've been in sales, been in management. But I've heard about this insurance. People have always been approaching me. How do you make money? And then he told me, well, I sit down with families just like you each day. I write a policy and I get paid. And plus I get residual income. So whoa, residual income, what do you mean? I heard about residual income. And when he started sharing me, $300,000 a year income, et cetera, I said, hey, listen, I don't have a college background. All I know is that I can work and I will succeed in anything. I just need direction. So the next day he called me, and I was painting again. I was just painting some buildings in the area. And he called me up and said, hey, Rene, listen, this is Mr. Jody from last night. I talked about you to my manager, and usually we don't hire people who are not from the insurance background. And he said, you'd be open to an interview. So I went into the interview, and just long story short, the guy was sitting there smoking a cigar. He's an old Italian guy, so we got along pretty good because I'm Italian too. And he said, man, hey, but listen, you get the license, I'll put you to work. So it took me, again, the focus that I said, okay, this is my opportunity. I had to study. Studying was not easy for me, but I had to study to get that license. I got that license, which took me a couple of months now because I failed it, I missed about 1 point or whatever. And even my parents and my family say, you sure about this insurance thing? You sure you're not? I said, listen, just you do what you need to do. I need to do what I need to do. Because I had this image in my head, in my mind, and focus that, okay, I wanted that guy's lifestyle. He came to the table, he was dressed nice, he was very polite, he enjoyed his career. I wanted that lifestyle. So I went through that pain. And that's where I think a lot of people are stuck. They don't go through the pain enough time to get where they need to go. So I had to go through the pain of studying to get the license. When I got the license, I was fired up. Everybody was fired up, but still I never made no money. So I was still, again, I was still painting. And that's where I think a lot of people get disconnected. You have this visualization, what you want, but you got to do something to make money or survive sometimes to get what you want. So I had to go through the process of still painting, get the license. Still, even when I started the insurance, he told me to just make phone calls. So what do you mean make phone calls? I don't know what I'm doing. I said, listen, don't worry about it. Just make phone calls. Anything you don't know, if you don't understand, read the brochure. If you don't, call me up and I'll give you the answer. That's how I started my career, to where I figured out how to be in control of my daily basis. So if I the phone calls got me the appointments, which created the action steps to closing deals. So each day, if I would go on 2 to 4 or 5 different appointments, that's where the money kind of came in. So that's where I kind of started. And then from there, I asked a friend of mine about real estate. So here I was in insurance. I finally got that 6-figure income. My sister was pissed off with me. I don't know if I can curse on this, but I can't share. Because she was a college student, and she was making maybe 70, 80,000. Here I was, 28, the young family, and I was making over 6 figures. So all of a sudden, everybody was kind of like, looking at me and said, well, what are you doing? I said, well, I'm just working. I'm just doing what I'm supposed to do, is make appointments. Sales, to a lot of people, don't realize that sales is everything. In business, you're selling yourself, you're selling your business. So you have to start off sometimes in sales to really get those skills to know what you need to do on a daily basis. Through a career, I ran into a friend of mine who was doing real estate, and I said, dude, how do you do this real estate investing? So, well, Rene, I mean, really, I found a good property, figured out what needs to be done to it. Said, if you don't mind, can I do a deal with you one day? And I put up a little bit of money and a little bit of time. My time, really, to be honest with you, I put more time. He did the money, but I did the time. But it gave me the ability of learning of what to do for that process. So we're renovating a property, about 3 to 6 months. It actually happened during a 911. I was tearing up some floors, and the 911 hit that day. Some people came into my little unit and say, man, did you see what's happening? And it's, what are you talking about? So it was really kind of exciting at that point. But I went through that little process. That property turned into about a $15,000 profit for each one of us. So that started my real estate career, from really saying, okay, what I can do. So I guess the message is, since that time period, when I learned for myself that I'm in control of the daily basis of the actions that I have to take to achieve. And that's really the kind of process that I think everybody goes through. We're lost. We're not looking at really what it is that we're passionate about. And you can be passionate about driving. You can, drive. We have a lot of people who have driving truck companies, and they drive. They make a good $500 to $1,000 a day. You have those who are great at doing the social media. That's their career. So it really doesn't matter what their career is. If they're passionate about it, you're going to really enjoy doing it.
I think what I'm getting from this a lot is, everything, you need a process for everything. And when you go, like, what it sounds like to me is you found good mentors early on. And when you go into an entrepreneurial space and you're, in your little home office, scratching your head, posting your Instagram, trying to do Facebook Live to crickets, and you don't have a process of how to fill your pipeline with people, like a mentorship is crucial. You've got to model after someone who's done it and can guide you on your way, especially if you're working. Like, it's one thing to go into a company where you've got a built-in mentor system. You've got management, they're like, sit down, make a phone call, stay in the step you're in. When you graduate from that step, we'll move you to the next step, It's one thing that I've learned from my mentor is stay in the step I'm in, and it stops the overwhelm as well. I'm a very process-oriented person too. I need to know what are the rules of engagement and what are the steps I need to take. Otherwise, I'm like you, like ADD. I just shiny object, squirrel. So
it's tough. Yeah, it's tough.
So for entrepreneurs, diving into whatever their soul hustle is, or their passion and purpose is, how would you frame, where they should be focusing their time and energy in terms of marketing and branding, and then enrolling clients? Like, how should they be dividing their time? What should be their process? I mean, is there a cookie cutter for all businesses?
There's not a cookie cutter, but it's just really focusing on first. It's again, I kind of focus on, your action steps to reach it. Then that's an open visualization. When I say action steps, it's the daily, when you wake up and having your goals for that day, and it can be creating a thumbnail. It can be creating a video. It can be making certain phone calls. It can be networking. It's a lot of stuff, and sometimes we don't know what to do. But it's like the little things just to get your Instagram page, let's say, up and running. Get your basic little social media, and that's what I had to do when I first started. 3 years. I took really kind of ownership of my Facebook and social media pages, that I wasn't really just posting stuff. You ever get on Facebook and you see people just posting stuff? Positivity or things of that nature through the years before I really started coaching a whole bunch, because I just felt that I want people to see and hear and feel the message. Right. So if you create that, you got to throw it out there of what you want people to see. And throw it out there, and if you do the little things like that, it makes you feel like, hey, I've accomplished something. So feeling that every day I'm doing something, I accomplished this, and it's those little steps every day, the repetitions, repeat,
Yeah.
that gets you closer to where you're trying to go to. And that's what
take you to land your first client? Like when you started to put yourself out there as a consultant or a business coach, and you did your social media, and you're starting to kind of like get a feel for what people need, and what's resounding based on your experience, to them. Like how long did it kind of take you to realize, okay, you know what, I need to like go after clients or?
For me, it really took me within the first 30 days. It really started putting it out there because again, because I guess I was doing so much through the years and people knew a little bit of my social media, or when they looked at my social media and the pages that I was putting out, I had some local clients first. So if you have a variety of different local clients that I kind of started out with first, and that's kind of how it propelled. And then my online now has reached to where I've dealt with clients from everywhere from California. I have a client right now in Togo, a client that's in India, because of the social media side.
Yeah, you really go
but you got to start off. I rewind. You ever play a movie in your head, and sometimes you play this movie that you have to go backwards, but you play it backwards and say, okay, these are the things that I did. So if I keep on doing those things and just get a little bit better each day on them, then that you kind of start propelling more and more clients.
Right. And it's not about going for perfection or like being the master guru out of the gate, right? It's just, you just have to be a little bit farther along than the guy coming up behind you. That's my philosophy.
You're right on that, Adrian. I mean, it's there's so much noise when you look at social media or YouTube and everything else. You have to be authentic and you have to be real. I'm one of those to where I can create a video saying, hey, man, look at my car, or look at my money, or look at this. A lot of it's a lot of showboat, and a lot of people can't see past it. You have to really be authentic with people and really help them with realistic steps of what you're going to go through. You're pain. You're going to go through the learning process. You're going to stay up literally 12 to 14 hours in a day watching or creating certain things. But if it's your passion, you're not thinking about it as time. I think I stopped an hourly wage in my early 20s, and because it was kind of hard for me to look at, I got to work an hour for $10 an hour, whatever it may be. So it kind of got to the point of my time is worth this. So I've got to make sure that I'm doing something that's going to get me to that time. So I can sometimes accomplish that before 10 o'clock. $100 a day, 300, 500, but you have to really be looking at what you're trying to accomplish and what you want and what your value is. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and the one thing I loved about sales when I went into sales in my early 20s too, it was that ability to kind of write your own paycheck. It's like it literally shows you, it's a mirror of where your head is at, like where you're at. And I loved that benchmark. I hated being micromanaged. I mean, I've always said I'm totally unemployable. Like,
right. We're not going to employ you.
Totally unemployed. Like, I want my results to show because I'm inherently like, a rebel. I'm a bit of a rebel. So it's like, oh, really? You want me to do that? No, look, there's the numbers. That's my value. Right. That's what I'm bringing. Right?
Bingo.
If I want to take a 2-hour lunch, I'll see you later.
Let me share with you on that. So, let's go back to that because, again, I think a lot of individuals don't realize that if you're working for somebody, again, your brand is everything. And your name is what really what you can control, I guess. So even though you're working, because I've worked for Blue Cross Blue Shield, I worked with a lot of different insurance companies before I went on my own. I still work with different insurance companies. I'm not employed, but figured out that I don't have to be employed by the companies to be contracted with them, right? Real estate. You don't have to. When I first started my real estate company, you have all these different companies, and it was Keller Williams. And I opened one up back in 2000 here, and it was always, you got to be part of. Wherever you go to. I used to teach these individuals, and I was 32 at the time, and I was dealing with individuals who have been in the insurance or real estate business for years, and I was just teaching them that it's not the company. Even when you to me, it's not the company, what you're going to get from the company. You're going to get leadership skills, teamwork, how to build a business. If you've been in business for so many years, whatever you're doing, whether it's insurance, real estate, whatever, if you're happy working for somebody or another company, that's great, and do your best to bring as much value to that company. So like you said, I don't need to sit here and take your BS because I'm the top producer.
Yeah, numbers don't lie.
Look at the numbers, right? It's always that productivity. And if you're doing the productivity, you own your life. And that's what I strived. I wanted to own my life and own my day. I don't want anybody to be able to put a thumb on me or tell me what I can and can't do. It's not against it. It's just I want to be free in a way to where I can control that part. And that's what I think a lot of individuals might not really realize, that you're in control of your life. Create when you're ready to go out on your own, yourself financially, because it's a time period of sometimes that you need that little extra team that you might have to spend money on doing things, social media, whatever that is, or camera, things of that nature. And I think some people jump too quick. And then I hear a lot of
results too quick, yeah, instead of really just getting good. Like, don't
Sure.
worry about being good, just get out there and do it. You know, what would you say to someone who is going down the entrepreneurial path because they're passionate about what they do? Like maybe they're some sort of healer or teacher, or but they want to attract clients or teach what they know to people, but maybe they don't have this same, like, I think you and I are cut from a similar cloth. We have that burning drive. You know, I want to see those numbers on the board and I want to be number one. And there are a lot of coaches out there who are not as driven to be, you know, they're not as sales focused or you know what I'm saying? How
yeah.
them kind of like transition? Like, is this the kind of situation where if you're really afraid of the sales, is there a way to flip your head about it? If you're afraid of like
Yes.
asking for business or saying, this is what I'm worth, you know, is it smart to hire someone to do that for you? You know, like, how would you handle that?
Let me share with you. I have been in sales majority of my life, and I hate sales. I'm not a salesperson. And I deal with car salesmen. I deal with all kind of different people. I get phone calls all day. I genuinely want to help people. And that's what some people don't realize. You don't have to be a great salesperson. You just have to be genuine to help people. And every person has a problem. Everybody has something in their life, whether it's, I want to get in shape, but I don't know how to. I want to create a thumbnail, but I don't know how to. I want to create a video. That's where you kind of reach out to certain individuals, or if you're good at that skill, then start telling people what you're good at. I'm good at creating social media. I'm good at painting portraits. And that's the skill. I mean, I have a young 21-year-old grandson right now. He's good at music, but at the same time, it's tough. That's a tough industry. But I told him, so listen, you have to work for some people, maybe in the music industry or the news or whatever, to get and learn to meet some people. So sometimes you have to back up and you have to get into certain areas or spaces to be able to learn more. But if you're really good at something, whether it's, like I said, all the different, there's so many things that you can create. If you look on YouTube and everything you Google, somebody's doing it.
Yeah.
So there's not somebody that's done.
Yeah.
But you have to really kind of have that confidence that, you know what, I can help people, whether it's with accounting, whether it's creating Excel spreadsheets. That's a value to certain people, just like myself. I pay my accountant to do the taxes. That's what he's good at.
I hate that stuff. So I really think focusing down to where the transformation is to help yourself as an entrepreneur put a value, really evaluate what your offer, how your offer transforms that person's life. I think that, again, like what you said, don't focus on the sales, focus on the value that you bring by your unique methodology and what that means in that person's life. Like if your service saves somebody thousands of wasted hours, or their health, or their well-being, or their mental and emotional well-being, or helps them bring the love of their life into their life, like what is that worth? Like it's right.
It's Price.
the value of what we offer. And if we don't feel it's a value, like maybe you need to change your game, you know?
Yeah, if you're not confident that what you're going to be doing or how you're going to be helping someone is a value, you're not going to be confident in your presentation, you're not going to be confident in your words and things of that nature. So I can say in my life that the confidence has come from because I just did it. And when I did it, I felt good about me. So I've showed myself that I can pass a test.
Right.
When I got the licenses and, I'm different licenses and different things. And I go back and I just say, I just did the action. I made phone calls. Now, sometimes when it comes down to I train a lot of my salespeople on certain things. And I go back to where if you're not making the phone calls and you're not doing the activity, whether it's email marketing, whatever it may be, you can't expect a result. And that's only where the confidence comes from, is that you make those phone calls and taking those and then going through the process, going to networking events and, you're meeting people. So it's the time and activities that I think people just don't do. They don't do anything. And the do is where you get your confidence. And that's where you get your name out there and things of that nature.
Well, that's a perfect introduction into what you are going to offer our audience today. How to execute the doing.
Yes, it's the course was created for basically just do it to be done, and dream it first, do it, and then it's done. I'm very short in trying to. I don't think a lot, and so I created this course that really helped people understand that whatever your visualization is, we get that clear. We help you really kind of get that clear within that course of really visualizing what you really want, where you want to be, how you want to feel. Do you want to have that dream car, that dream marriage, kids? I mean, just you have to really feel it. It's got to be tickling you in your soul. Mm-hmm. And when we figure that out, that we sometimes you have to draw that out of yourself to really say, what is it that I want, and what is it that my dream is, right? And do the doing it. The action steps and the different things that I go through is like, just the research, the studying, the learning, all the different processes sometimes that you have to do to really get it done. Because you're not going to get anything done if you don't do some things.
So your course is called Dream to Do It. And you're going to offer this as a gift to our audience.
Yeah.
What do you normally charge for that?
It's a $599 course. In the course, I'm also throwing in, which I don't do usually, but I'm throwing in 3 coaching sessions, and those are about 45-minute sessions. Each session is usually worth anywhere around $300 per session. So my goal is to really help some people really see the value in what the course can do to change their lives. And my goal is just really working with some individuals to really help them succeed. And if they succeed, I succeed, we all succeed.
I love that. That's very generous to offer one-on-one coaching, you guys. That's massive, massive value right there to have your own mentor. I think there's nothing more valuable than having a mentor at every stage in business, not just when you're first starting out. So if you guys are getting massive value from this, please share this with others who you feel might benefit from it. Rene, thank you so much for taking the time today to share your wisdom and experience with our audience. And I really hope that we get to have you back here again and do more Soul Hustle Summit series on other topics.
I look forward to it, Adrian. You're doing a great job, and I'm looking forward to just keep on excelling through the years with you.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you, love.